Right, AP.
Hello.
Cool. And Sesh.
Hello.
Yep. Test 1, 2 is the transport working.
Hi, Frozen.
Yes, the transport is working.
Hello, Frozen. I don't think it's picking up my voice.
Okay, I have 4 absentee ballots, so we only really need 5 staff members here.
Yep, so, Froze and MBF, Simon are all in the... Froze and MBF are both in the audience.
So, yes.
Get up on stage.
Alright, let's get this started. So welcome to the October General Staff Meeting for 2025. The plan for this meeting is, officially there's only one topic, that's 6A, regarding Central City Plot 15. But we're coming in the expectation that that topic will probably be deferred. We'll at least talk about it at this meeting. And then after that topic, we'll talk about some of the community issues that didn't... They're currently in Discord. They're not in the GSM officially. But if there's any opinions that people want to bring up there, consider this an informal discussion. We will not necessarily make any decisions at this meeting. We could defer them to the next meeting. But we're just giving people some time to talk about it. But before all that, we need to find the GSM location, and I have the spinning wheel up on screen on my stream. Let me see if I can get on Discord here. And we're going to spin it. Okay, the wheel has selected XW54. What's at XW54?
It's a big rock and some benches. Looks quite nice.
Oh, lovely.
Okay, yeah. It's nothing much going on here. Actually, yeah, this middle area right here is pretty good for people to do their shenanigans. Okay. So, yeah, let's get started. Yeah, no conductor or moderator candidates. We're just going to go straight into 6A. I guess I'm going to go through the absentee ballots, just so people know where some of the staff stand on here. Missa.
I think you should first talk about what the issue is.
Oh, okay. How do I describe it, though? Basically, so the PTLD has submitted a request to redevelop Central City Plot 15. What does he want to do with it again? I can't remember. I think he wants to combine it with his existing plots. Is that correct?
If I remember correctly, it was something about a bus terminal with a building on top for his bus company.
Let's see. So that's what he wants to do. However, the plot is currently owned by Avanish, and together with Bobby, apparently, when they were informed that this was happening, they had apparently had some sort of plan to. They had their own plan to develop the plot. So what was decided at that at least in that proposal, was deferred to this GSM. Now we are at that GSM, but there has been a request from Bobby and Avanish to defer this even further, either to the November GSM or the December GSM, at least 1 or 2 months, because apparently those two are, or at least Avanish is busy with IRL things. On the other hand, PTLD has he's also not here at the GSM, but he is kind of wants to go do something with that plot. He is getting impatient that he has to wait this long. So there is that side of it. Okay, now I'm going to read the absentee ballots. So for Missa 6A, Missa says I can't say I have a strong opinion on how we should proceed currently. So there's no opinion from Missa. For Vicky, it's honestly really small anyway, so I don't really care too much. I like the idea that the idea from the proposal. I'm assuming from PTLD, and I'm completely fine. If and only if everyone is on the same page about it, which is not the case here. If not, I'll leave the specifics to staff discretion. HVT on 6A, I'm okay with deferring this as per Bobby's request. And Alpha on 6A, I'm in support of redeveloping the plot in general, though Avanish did mention that he has a redevelopment plan. I'm in favor of deferring by just 1 month to give Avon and Bobby to respond, but not until December to drag it out. Perhaps it can be similar in format to a request for proposal. There are also other plots in the city that I think both parties can consider. Okay, so I'm going to open it up to the floor here of the staff in attendance. What do you guys think should be done here?
I'll admit I don't like the current bus terminal. The current bus terminal is a bit of an eyesore, as it were, so I'm very much for redeveloping that plot. As far as I'm concerned, like, PTLD has come up with a plan, a fairly reasonable plan, and we've heard nothing from Avanish or Bobby on, like, if they have a plan. I would like to see that, frankly. I think I'm on the coin of I would rather this get sorted now, but if needs be, defer it a month. No more than that. No more than a month.
Again, considering the request from Avanish and Bobby is that they're too busy IRL to do anything about that. That's the problem. They haven't submitted a plan because apparently they're too busy.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm in favour of deferring by 1 month, but I think I like to see maybe a solid plan from Avanish and Bobby as well. I don't want it to be a case. Obviously, they got an intent to develop it, but it's still not going to happen even after a month. I think as already mentioned, there are other plots available for both parties. So, yeah, I'm not really sure. I think I'm in favour of deferring for 1 month, but I think that would be the final deadline in my opinion. So.
I have an opinion, but 1 second. I'm gonna switch to my computer. I'm on my phone right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So it doesn't get lost. Frozen said, "My concern is that Bobby's been asking for a postponement, but it's been on pretty frequently the last 2-3 weeks."
Has he? I don't know if I've noticed, Bobby, to be honest. Avanish definitely is not here. And the plot is owned by Avanish, officially.
Frozen mean maybe they hadn't been online? I don't know.
Yeah, Sesh says Bobby has been offline for 10 days. That's not what I would call active.
All right. Um, my thoughts on this. This is not. It's not like we're just immediately saying, "Oh, they need a plan right now." They've known about this for nearly a month. And I don't even need a detailed plan. I just need to know something that they've considered, that they have an idea, other than that they're just saying this to keep the plot and don't actually have a plan.
I think that's sort of my concern as well. Is obviously that
Yeah.
you can say you're going to do something and then obviously not have anything happen. But I think, in my opinion, it would be safe to defer for a month just to give them time to do that if they do actually have some plans. But after that, make a decision, perhaps.
Personally, yeah, I think a month is too long.
Okay.
But our meetings are only per month, so we can't really we can't really make a decision in between. That doesn't make any sense, unfortunately.
I guess we could say, if you haven't provided a plan within a couple of weeks, then we'll give it to PTLD. So I think we could defer it in that sense, but also we'd have to come to the actual decision now. So
I'm sorry, I'm against that because again, I think we're discussing this already at the GSM. I feel like it makes sense to. I don't see the difference between 2 or 3 weeks to a month. And if whatever decision we make, it should be public. I don't want to just sort of like. Does that make sense? Am I making sense here? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, it kind of feels weird that if we just do it at 2 or 3 weeks, then we just what? We just allow PTLD to do whatever with it? Is that what you're asking?
I was thinking something closer to 1 week. They don't even need to log on. They just need to say, "Hey, we want to do this specific thing."
Once we've got that, how do we kind of make that judgment of it?
Yeah,
that's a good point.
We need several staff to discuss it, and that'll have to be privately amongst staff. Which, yeah, we could do it, but it's Also, try and get staff to reply. That too.
Yeah, so I suppose my only concern is obviously you don't want to inhibit PTLD from doing his project in there.
Yeah.
For any longer to find out they've not actually going to be doing much with the plot afterwards anyway, because obviously PTLD is going to have to then reconsider the location and the actual development itself, I suppose. So.
Yeah.
Okay. So
one of the just going to on its own merits, one of the things on the proposal PTLD is a link to the to the planned terminal. Planned what rail terminal? I'll have to quickly check the exact text of the. I don't think that planned warp terminal is happening. I was the one to kind of bring it up, but yeah, the community opinion on that was very much we don't want this or we don't need this.
Sorry, what warp terminal are you referring to, AP?
The potential warp terminal that would have been in plots 13, 14, just south of the current Manukau terminal.
Sorry, I need to look up the picture for CC. 13, 14. Wait, hold on. When? Okay. I'm the one who wanted to put a warp terminal there. I didn't realize people who has been saying no to that specifically.
I'll pull up the planning thread.
Because specifically, I'm still pushing for that because that's the only good spot that has at least around Central City and that hasn't had very much development, and to me it has the highest potential for such a terminal.
I will. Copy the link to the post now.
I will mention what PTLD said. He says he's been dealing with this for 2 months, and there's been no plan at this time. PTLD, I was going to ask, have you been talking with Bobby or Avanish at all about if there can be any sort of compromise or alternate plan here? Oh, you have DM logs as well? Okay. I guess my point, PTLD, is I'm wondering if there's been any communication between you and Avanish and Bobby, just to ask them what the plan is, right? Don't share DMs without permission, PTLD. What was their answer? Basically, oh, you have permission. Okay, I guess just give us a general. Was their answer basically? Did they basically say they have no plans? Is that their answer, or is it not? Is it not determinable? Oh,
It's a little more complex than that.
PTLD wants to speak. Okay, that might make it easier.
Yeah, that's probably easier for all around.
Sure. How do I bring you up here?
Hi, thank you.
Hey.
So just going back into my DMs, I started talking to, initially messaged Avanish about this on August 17th. On August 17th, Avanish told me that they were saving the plot for a planned train carts terminal to be made in Central City. To which I informed them that there's already a train carts terminal in Central City. Then on the 24th, he messaged me again after I said there's a train carts terminal in Central City. He said, okay, give me a day or two to think about giving you the plot and ping me if I forget. Then on the 31st, he says, Bobby and I have made some plans to the plot in the future, but if we end up not needing it, I'll let you know. And they have not told me what those plans are or told anyone what those plans are.
So it's basically unknown.
It's unknown. They have not communicated at all to anyone.
Yeah, but they said they have some plan. They just haven't told us. That's interesting.
They haven't told anyone at any point in any of the conversations, either the community issue, the proposal, or their recent thing.
Yeah, a plan that doesn't exist. Sorry, a plan that's completely unknown might as well be a plan that doesn't exist.
I'm fine with giving them one final chance if people were leaning that way and just deferring, but I just want to just set the record straight about that. Okay. People that I've really heard nothing about what they want to do with the plot, other than that they want the plot. Because I mean, they've had this plot since they acquired Manikawa buses. I want to say in late 23. I can check the wiki on that. And they've, other than putting a sign up front saying that they now own it, that's kind of all they've done.
And I don't know, maybe you're still looking up the warp terminal, but just so I understand clearly, PTLD, this thing that you're building isn't supposed to be in support of potentially the warp rail terminal that might come in there.
I just said at proposal to help with the proposal, I'm open to collaboration with that other proposal.
I see.
If people want to do that.
Okay, understood. Okay, so what shall we do? Oh, go ahead. What?
Sorry, they acquired Manikawa buses in that terminal on December 5th, 2023, per okay. Wiki records. I'm sure it's on staff records also. Thank you. I'll step down.
Okay, thank you. All right, staff. What do you think should be done here? It sounds like
I wasn't aware it had been over it was 2 years almost at this point since they acquired it. I think that's sort of maybe shifted my opinion slightly.
Yeah, shift your opinion in what way?
Well, I mean, sorry, they've had the adequate opportunity to actually develop the plot. If they haven't done that in that span of time, I'm not really sure we'll see too much, even if they are allowed to develop it now. So I think I'd probably be more in favour of PTLD acquiring the plot, given they have actually owned it for 2 years. I was not aware of that, to be honest.
Yeah, my opinion's about the same as it was at the start of this. I'd rather go with PTLD's plan for the plot.
Okay. What about the rest of you? It's to me, if I'm counting the absentee ballots, there's, I mean, Alpha and HVT have said deferring, with Alpha saying, you know, just to November. Like, that's the only real strong opinion I've seen in that direction. Such as I would like to see Bobby and Avin's plans at least. Okay. Okay, I see Frozen's typing here.
Athena has a good point.
Which point?
I'm curious to see the original acquisition of that plot by Avanish.
Is it a record of that somewhere?
I'm not sure, but I think it's worth looking.
Okay. Well, I don't know if we want to waste time at the meeting unless we can find it very quickly.
References to the only reference to Manukau I can find is from the October 2017 GSM.
Okay.
And which was a Manukau bus terminal needs to be reduced in height. Other things are just various assorted sheets.
Okay. Frozen said I'm sort of leaning to PTLD's direction as they've been recently on within the last 3 weeks. This is its 2 notes discussion. Nothing has been really done. I will say it does make me a little bit uncomfortable that PTLD is here, but those two are not. They have been given plenty of opportunity to talk about it, or at least say their plan. But the fact that they're not the GSM, to make the decision without them seems a little not great. I'm not sure if I'd go with it.
Given that, I'm still very much in favour of PTLD's plan, but I will accept deferring.
Yeah, I think I'm with AP.
If you guys really think that we should just go ahead and just give it to PTLD, we can go with that. We would have to deal. This will probably disappoint Bobby and Avanish, but if you guys want to deal with that consequence, then we can go with that.
It's the question. Say we do defer to next month. We kick the can down the road, and at that point, there's still no plan that we've seen. Seems likely.
If they don't submit a plan, then I think it's PTLD's right away. If they do submit a plan, I don't know. I guess, do we consider that plan, and there's a possibility that they just go ahead with it? Like, we don't.
Yes.
We don't know what the plan is, so it's hard to say.
Well, we'd have to evaluate it.
Okay. I'm willing to just say defer to November if we can't really make a decision here.
think that'd be reasonable. To be honest, we're sort of a bit torn by the sounds of it. So
Okay, so we are going to defer this topic to just the November GSM, not December, as I think they possibly wanted, but we'll give them 1 month. I'll communicate to them that they need to submit I think not just a simple plan, maybe something a little bit more detailed, so we can actually evaluate it. And yeah, what's Frozen's comment? Sorry.
What about this? Since BTLD is okay with deferring, let's make it automatic. If no plans are submitted by 6 days prior to next GSM, BTLD gets the plot. If a plan's submitted, then we evaluate.
Sure, if you want to save 6 days, yeah, okay, because that is the deadline. Sure, okay.
Yeah, I'll be in favour of that. It would just save us a little bit of time next meeting.
Okay, cool. All right, sounds good. So to reiterate, I don't know if anyone's writing minutes. No, Vicky's not here. Shoot.
Just
do them afterwards if we need to.
Oh, but I'll just quickly jot them down.
Yeah, thanks, AP.
So defer to next GSM. Defer to November GSM. Defer to November GSM if no plan is submitted by Bobby and or Avanish. Then PTLD gets the plots automatically. Otherwise, we evaluate both sets of plans at November GSM and come to a decision then.
Yep. Specifically, the deadline for the next GSM, which would be... give me a sec. When is the next one?
I want to guess the 4th.
So November 8th is GSM, so 6 days before the 2nd is, I believe.
Oh, close enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, cool. All right. That's 6A. That's done. Let's talk about, okay, so there's several community issues. Do you guys want to tackle the serious one first, or do you want to just try to get the ad mod and trustee buildings out of the way first?
I think we should do the serious one first and then the building stuff after.
Okay, sure. Okay, let's talk about the serious channel.
Because Elite's busy with the trustee meeting anyway, so.
Oh yeah, that's true. I'm gonna try to summarize. So there is a topic in community issues. It's, still ongoing. The general gist I can, I'll frame the problem. The problem is that we've been getting a lot of newer and younger members on the server, and mainly the in-game, I will say, I haven't seen so much on Discord, but in-game, they've been popping into the serious channel and getting into conversations that are probably more geared toward adults, or at least the older people, are quite deep and serious conversations. And some of them have been making some inappropriate comments in that channel. I don't think with bad intent. I think they just are too young or too new to have life experience to really know how to deal with those conversations. So they're kind of saying things that they don't intend to be mean or wrong. They just don't know any better. So there have been just some discussion of how can we prevent that from happening. What Val has suggested is putting in some sort of age restriction on those channels. And there's been other discussion about also making those channels trustee and above. Both of those solutions have some caveats, in that, at least with the age thing, we can't. It's difficult to enforce. Probably slightly easier of 18 plus on Discord side, but that's the Discord channel. And for trustee, that has some issues as well. If people are listening right now, you probably best if you read through that thread, to really get a gist of what the topic is. So again, this is an informal discussion, so I'm not expecting to make any decision here, but just to get the conversation rolling here.
Yeah, I mean, I did put some thoughts in there. I think I am personally of the opinion with a lot of these sorts of topics is, it is a public forum that we're discussing things in. So, I think you do have to go with somewhat an expectation that people are going to obviously comment and say things that aren't as nice or aren't really what you want to hear on there. Obviously, it doesn't mean we can't deal with people who are, saying things they shouldn't do in the channels, but I don't know if a blanket ban is really necessary, given it is a public forum and that. We can probably mitigate a lot of these issues by just nipping it in the bud with a few certain members rather than the entire channel.
Okay. I did see a point, Dina. I did see a point from Frozen, though. I think I'll repeat it for him for his sake. I think his position was, we know that they're going to be always newer, younger people. So, like, at least in the immediate term, yes, we can nip it in the bud. But I think his point is there's still going to be more of these newer people coming. Do we just keep nipping them in the bud, or I think that's why the longer, like, some sort of restriction is being considered here to try to at least prevent people from getting into conversations that they don't belong.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing is, I just think it's going to be very difficult and tedious to enforce, I suppose, a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So I suppose in most cases we probably do know people's age, which does help with that kind of thing. But there are going to be a lot of people all the time who aren't going to, have announced their age in public chat, and might not want people to know that sort of information. I think it's it'll be an ongoing requirement for staff to enforce moderation on the channel in terms of age restriction, in addition to our current responsibilities already making sure the conversation stays civil and whatnot. But what I'm saying, I don't really know if it's a necessary additional burden to take on when it's not really a major problem, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree that figuring out how to the execution of figuring how to moderate is, I'm not looking forward to it. I don't see a good solution for it, to be honest.
I suppose the thing I mentioned is, the comments that these people have been making, and there's nothing that's been, shock horror things. It's just been sort of not really understanding the context and the tone of the conversation, rather than there's nothing, I suppose, inappropriate being said by them. So I don't think it's necessarily an urgent issue per se. So, just something else I'd mention as well, really.
I will say, so when those I've seen that, at least in one case, which I've actually talked to the person in question already. But when they went into the channel, and then the people that were in the other people who were having their conversation, they did call out that person for making that comment, and then that person didn't really acknowledge them, which is not great. So I think in this case, like, staff, had to come in and actually go talk with that person and say, okay, yeah, you're not supposed to do that. And it sounds, at least in that case, that person now understands. But I don't know.
I suppose in those situations, would we not already have justification to ban them from the channel anyway, just based on the fact they're not really listening to other people and what they're being asked to do?
If I had talked to that person and they didn't understand, then I would certainly consider some sort of ban or some sort of something along those lines. I don't know.
I suppose my thing is, I think there are probably two ways you can implement an age restriction. I think the first way is we actively look for people saying that they're under the age of whatever age we pick, and then look to mute them from the channel, ban them from that channel after the fact. Or the alternative is that we wait for them to start talking. We ban on an ad hoc basis. If a young member starts to be annoying the channel, then we mute them. I think those are probably the two ways that we could do that. But what I'm saying is, I think the first option is probably a bit difficult to enforce, because every time we accept a member application, we're going to have to go and cross-reference it to the serious channel, see if they fit the age criteria. On top of the fact that, it's not always something that, people don't always put their age in the member applications. It's an optional question. So I think that's sort of off the table. And I would argue that if it's a case where we're going to ban people that, when they start using the channel, I'd argue then we kind of already have justification to do that, I suppose, when they become a problem.
Actually,
I suppose really, if we won't, yeah.
Actually, now I think at that point it'd be a warning, to be honest. Now I think about it, because in a sense, they are coming into that channel. They're not respecting other people at that like that conversation. So if it's clear that they're not respecting, and even after talking with them, they still don't understand, I would say, just warn them. Like, just say, no, you can't do that. Like, I think
it's a bit tricky. The only thing with doing it that way is obviously I think it's tricky that all these members don't actually, they genuinely don't understand that what they're doing is annoying. It's behaviour that would be probably acceptable in public chat, but it's just on the serious one that it is a problem, I suppose.
I think it's on them to be able to read the room, and right, like, and again, I'm not saying to warn them right away. Like, I can understand that if they're new, they're young, they may not understand what the purpose of Serious Channel is. They're that. I'm saying if staff would go talk to them, if after, in the event that they still don't understand or they still refuse to comply, I think that's warning territory right there. If they do understand, that's, and they make it, then that's fine. Like, that's great. Like, they won't do it. They hopefully will not do that again, right?
I suppose then would we just want maybe just stronger enforcement on the serious channels, perhaps? Because we get problems. It's not just young members that can be problematic. It can be people who are much older as well. So I suppose, do we just want more active enforcement on the serious channels to make sure that sort of behaviour doesn't happen?
True. Okay, so let's put a pin on that, because there's several. I don't know if you read what Frozen's saying. He's saying something completely different.
So I forgot about Frozen, actually.
So Frozen's idea. So Frozen, just so you understand, what Dee and I have been talking about just now, we're leaning toward not going. We're not leaning toward restricting to trustee. We're also not leaning toward making that channel opt-in by staff. That does increase overhead. We're leaning toward just more enforcement on the cases so far. I'm trying. I think the thing with Scriptly is you have to turn your push to talk off. So I'm trying to do that more here. Yeah. Like, mainly we think any sort of restriction, like any sort of age restriction or any sort of rank restriction, is going to be, they as I discussed in the thread, both have caveats. We're not able to completely ban an age or completely ban a rank.
I suppose what I'm saying is where I gave those two options. But the first one is we ban members when we realise they're younger than the age criteria, and the second option being we ban them as it becomes a problem. I suppose what I'm more saying is, could we just encapsulate all annoying behaviour under just stricter enforcement rather than fixing one problem but still leaving the other one open? I suppose. Could we just sort of have a blanket, more strict enforcement to solve actually both the issue of annoying people in general and also younger members being annoying?
Yeah.
I think, but as we've said, a lot of the time they'll think they're being helpful, or they think they're trying to help someone. If they don't necessarily realise that it isn't. It's a warning for trying to do the right thing. I do not think that's productive. We should be teaching empathy.
Ippy, again, I don't know how to make this more clear. We're going to go talk. We're not warning them immediately. We're going to talk to them and explain why what they've done is actually not helping. In the event that they still don't understand, I would issue a warning, because they're not taking the time to understand.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I think given the context, like could we maybe just instead of obviously we can say talk to people, just try and help them understand, but
Mhm.
could there be scenarios where before a warning we just tell them to stop messaging in the channel completely? Would that be a viable option
It would
as
it would
opposed to jumping straight to a warning?
it would be viable for like if they're continuing and you want to prevent any further damage, sure. But it from their perspective, I wouldn't go with that as the only solution. We do need to explain to them. If you, basically, if you tell them to stop in the channel, but you don't explain to them why, they're not going to learn anything from that. They're going to be probably going to be more confused, to be honest.
Yeah, but I suppose what I'm saying is, do you come from the perspective you tell them why it's problematic first, and then if it continues to be a problem, then you just tell you know you can't message in the channel. We can maybe ban them from the channel instead of going to a warning. We can still go for a warning after that, but
I'll leave it to the staff discretion of what they should do. I would say if it's like, you know, in a lot of these examples, it's like one-off comments that people are making. But there could be a scenario where someone is just going on and on about, as an maybe someone is discussing something serious and this new player just putting on a lot of unsolicited advice, like just dumping everything, like a lot. I could see that happening. I would say in that case, first tell them to stop and then explain why that's not helpful. I think that's how I would approach it.
I suppose a warning is just a warning at the end of the day as well. So that's what it's there for, really.
If I would warn people, if it's clear to me, at least to staff, that this person is not listening, and they're like, if it looks like they're likely to continue that behavior in the future, definitely, like, they need to be there needs to be a bit more of a message there that this is not acceptable.
I mean, would it be worth, obviously, to have an immediate action? Would it be worth just sort of trialing the, you know, stricter enforcement, and if it's still going to be a problem, you know, in a couple of months' time, then we can look to actually change the rules for the channel. You just obviously not actually deciding this GSM, we keep forgetting that. Sorry, for the next GSM we make that decision, but
I think it would depend on whether it becomes, because we are getting quite a few new players now. One metric would be, does this continue to be a problem for not the players that we know of that have been, you know, problematic, but the newer players that we have never seen before. If there's a pattern of this happening, I think, yeah, a long-term solution is probably, we need to start thinking about that. What that is, I don't know. Like, you could again, most of these people, not even most, like, all the problems have seemed to be in-game Serious Channel. So we could just say, the most immediate solution might be to just restrict in-game Serious Channel to just trustees and above. So they would have to get the trustee first before they participate in the channel. That would stop that, at least. The problem with that solution is then it starts becoming inconsistent, because if they're in Discord, they can just bypass it and there's no trustee restriction. So that's the one part that I'm like kind of but maybe it needs to be done. I don't know.
I'm skeptical there's not a way to set a channel up so you have to have this rank and this rank.
It's not possible in Discord, unfortunately. It has, because when you get this, as long as it's an or relationship, not an and. The Discord can't do and relationships here. So if I were to set serious role and trustee role, you just need one or the other, not both.
Yeah,
it sucks, I know.
I mean, you could only allow trustees to apply the serious rank.
How?
By adding a trustee only channel, for basically request for roles.
it feels like the sort of thing
That's also
Taco.
where the pronoun stuff is and whatnot, and no one really wants another channel, and it would just be confusing for everyone.
True.
Yeah. It seems the sort of thing TacoBot should be able to do. If we were to put into serious trustee up only, then if somebody tries to apply, I guess, how capable is TacoBot? Can that recognise the rank someone has already? Presumably so.
I would actually say no, based on my knowledge of how TalkAbout works. At least the the cog that I'm using in there that enables those buttons to just click and add a role. I don't think it has that sort of logic. I might be wrong. I could look it up, but I'm leaning. I think it's no. I don't think I recall seeing that there. So
what is it using behind the scenes?
It is using it's Redbot. It's a Python bot that's very modular. So, and then the modules you can add like all different sorts of kinds. One of them would be, buttons and stuff. So for roles and things like that. So it depends on how that cog is coded, which is third party, technically. Again, we're not at that stage yet. But maybe, yeah, I don't know. It could be something later on. Pinged me.
Yeah, I can have a look through the documentation, see if there is anything on that.
Okay.
Because that might be quite useful.
Okay, so based on the discussion so far, it sounds like at least DNA and I think that enforcement is probably, and when I mean enforcement, like when these things happen, I would like people, it's part of it's also people reporting it to staff earlier, which I don't think happened in at least the cases that happened recently. So it's not just it's not just staff around. It's if staff aren't around, which there's certainly 2 periods of time on the server when that's the case, like report it to staff so we are aware of it, and then we'll try to get on top of it. Right? So because the longer it takes for in a lot of these recent cases, it took a while for us to talk to these people. Part of it's because some of them are not on Discord, so it's a little hard to contact them. But the sooner that we are able to talk with them, I think that's the more effective it will be, because then it'll still be in recent memory for both staff and that person, right? And I'll echo DNA's point also. Like again, not all conversations have to be in that serious channel. You may want to consider if it's something that's going real deep, maybe DMs are better. There is always a risk if you put something in a public channel that it's probably really small on a community like this, but you never know. Also, did you say that Omega just wants us to keep all the stuff in this area? Is that what's being asked here?
That's the impression I'm getting.
So we don't have to roll it back? Okay, good. Less work for admins. I'm okay with that.
Even the mobs, though, it's like I get gas there or something.
Okay. Okay. Are we good on this? At least on this serious on a serious topic here? Does that sound like a plan for now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't sound. That's a very reluctant. Yeah, AP.
I'm not sure.
Well, what are you not sure then? Like, come on.
Yeah, my brain's gone. Sorry, brain is completely gone.
Okay, bye, brain.
I can join this.
So, what should I put in the minutes? Just to summarise, no action now, but
there is an action, but better enforcement.
Better enforcement
from staff. Better. We are encouraging, and part of that is also we'd encourage members to report it to staff earlier, so we know. And we'll go with this solution for now. If again, we don't have, we can always come back to it if if it starts becoming more of a pattern and a problem that we see from newer and younger players coming in the months to come. Elite's done the trustee meeting, right? I think.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's done.
Yeah. No encouragement to report issues to staff.
Okay. Trustee tower or admod building first? Which you guys want to?
Admod.
Admod building. I forgot to. I also forgot to mention the absentee ballots here. Hold on. Okay, so for the admod building, Missa has no opinion there. Vicky says, I'll be honest, I've personally never really liked it, even from the moment it was built. So I'm for an new admod building on that front. It does admittedly feel a bit crass to time it after Moj has relatively recently left, though, especially considering the rumors around the circumstances that led to his departure. But in reality, whether the community at large wants it enough would determine whether it's worth it. HVT says, open to a new admod tower, kind of tired of this one. And Alpha has said, open to a new design, though I don't think the current building is terrible either. Perhaps people who are interested can build their designs without committing to replacing the building yet. Elite, do you want to come up and talk about the timing concern and other stuff as well, since it is your topic? Oops. There you are. Sorry.
Yes, hello all. The very rare, serious Elite Neon appearance at the GSM. Now, I must say that in regards to timing, I understand how it looks, but even with the rumors, I was personally like Moj, and I have been, I think, ever since the forehead was added. I have even before Moj left, I have always been consistent on this opinion that the building, it's a nice enough building, sure, but I don't feel it's fit for purpose. I feel. So I just want to clarify that I have held this view for a very long time. I've expressed it to Moj personally. I've held it ever since I think ever since we added the forehead, which was probably a year in. And I've also held the view since the beginning that with all due respect to the good folks who built the proposed buildings in 22, that this was simply the best option of what was presented and not necessarily the best option. So I want to clarify that, yes, I know the timing looks funny, but aside from the rumors, I had always personally liked Moj. I have no reason to sneak it in. In fact, I think I always intended to get it in with his support, or at least with his consultation. Of course, that's out of the picture now.
So I'll throw this question to you, Elite. Like, are you saying that... Like, there are a bunch of buildings that were built in 2022. I actually built one of them, and no one voted. No one voted for mine. Are you saying that it was so we definitely selected that out of we selected Moj's building out of those other towers? Are you suggesting some like your own design, or do you want other people to make new designs now? Like, what are you looking for here?
Specifically now, I will say on the first point, although I believe in my technical ability to build something that's not an absolute pile of crap, I feel that this particular building, it shouldn't be me. I'm bringing this one out of principle. The building ought to be built by one of our leading architects. It could, Foot could do it, or we could have a competition, or
Architect.
Well. I guess as you, of course, you have been the manager of the building. I think it should be left up to a competition, or it should be anybody but me, specifically for the AdMod building.
So you're basically saying there should be another contest. Is that what you're asking for?
A contest could work, or if there's an alternate way, if we were just to, if staff were just to hire a contractor. I don't have any particular preference. I also wouldn't mind if the building stayed up, but I think that community opinion is finally sort of shifting towards my view.
Okay. I'll just reiterate what people have been saying in chat. Simon says that I'm in favor of a revamp of the principle that I don't particularly like the AdMod building being a bus terminal. I have seen that criticism, Simon. So that said, it's a building for the staff, so it should be the staff's decision. That's also true, I guess. But it's also one of the centerpiece buildings of the community. So I feel like some people might argue that they should have a say as well. Athos said, just pointing out, we actually had 4 designs for tower. I think we had like 5 or 6 for the last time we looked for the AdMod building. I think the AdMod building will definitely be more popular. So I would think it's fair to say that we'd probably get at least maybe a few more entries for it. Like so far, I've not seen, at least from the 2 absentee ballots I saw from Vicky HVT, like they seem at least amenable to the idea. Is there any staff that are completely against the idea, or at least along those lines?
I don't mind either way, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe the only slight sort of thing I would say is if we can, whatever new design we have, if we can try and keep the offices the same size as the old ones, but that's much more a thing of revamping an office is difficult anyway. In terms of actually, if we wanted to get a new design, I do think a competition probably similar to last time. Maybe even allowing the designs that didn't go through to be resubmitted if people so wish. I'm flying around the old kind of contest space now, and
yeah, if the people who still have those designs want to resubmit, we can certainly allow that. I'm not going to resubmit my design because I think people didn't like it at all. They thought it looked like I don't know what you call those. Like those anti-sweat protectors that you put on your armpit. Yeah, I don't know.
What?
That's what I'm serious. Like, it looks like
that,
anyway.
That doesn't sound like an endorsement.
That's the reason why I didn't get voted in.
Welcome to antiperspirant place.
But yeah, okay, so that's an option. I don't know what other options like Elite was hinting at, like I'm not, because usually the easiest way is a contest, right? Like just let people make designs.
Well, I meant to imply that whatever options would be come up with by staff, I have no preference either way. I think the contest, of course, would be most practical, but yeah.
We would need someone to organize the contest.
And I don't want to do that again after the last one.
That's fair enough. I can understand that.
I do not believe I'm very good at it.
You got there in the end, Foot. So I mean, there's that. Like,
yeah, be up for organising it.
We'll do it, but let's see if we would want to do it that way.
Yeah.
If we do a competition, I suggest that we enter the current tower just in case everything else is people like less than the current design.
Yeah, I can see that.
That would be entirely fair.
We also, Katie did express opposition to the idea, so there probably some people would say just keep the idea, keep the current building. We can put that up as an option. AP, so AP, are you volunteering then?
Yeah, if that's what we decide to do, I'd be up for organising the new AdMod Tower contest.
Okay. Well, I guess MBF's idea is, it does make sense here, but it does feel a little weird if. It would feel weird if people start building designs and then the vote here turned out we don't want to use any of them. So I'm wondering, Elite, could you make? I wonder if an initial poll might be a good idea first before we start the contest. Like just ask, do you want a new ad building or not? It's a very, very simple question.
I'll put it out in a couple minutes then.
Okay, yeah, and we'll probably try directing people there so they can start voting in it. Maybe give people at least a week or something to vote in it. I think we should do that first, and then if it does turn out to be yes, then we can kick off the contest, I would say.
For now, though, there are some more minor changes I want, just more minor internal integration stuff. That's still I think I'm still going to keep working on that. If anyone else wants to help, they can do that.
Sure.
Just because there's still empty spaces and weird offices and whatnot, and I don't want the current building to just be a mess.
Yeah, the old building won't be deleted. It will be moved probably to Staff World afterwards. So.
And honestly, I feel like we should move it to next to Westbrook or something because it fits right in.
I mean, there is actually the lower bit of the AdMod building already exists in Westburg.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, sorry.
Simon did make a point, AP. So in terms of timing, you potentially do it through December. That way you're maximizing people's ability to be online on holidays. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I think depending on the polling, although to be honest, I'd probably be for running the I'd probably be for running contest anyway. Probably from the November GSM through to the January GSM.
2 months.
I think seems.
Yeah.
Assuming, have we got a date for the January GSM?
Would just be the second set. I'm assuming we're sticking with the same schedule.
That'd be 10th of January.
Yeah, 10th of January sounds good.
Yeah, so new year, new AdMod building. Yeah, probably running from the November GSM through November GSM through to January GSM. So that's a 2-month span for people to get designs in. And like Simon said, it's it maximizes people's potential activity through the holidays.
Actually, AP, you could also start it before the November GSM too, because this poll, I think, would only take about 1 or 2 weeks, I would assume. So if you want to just announce it, just say, just kick it off before November GSM. That's also an option.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay.
I'd maybe November 1st. Probably. Anyway, the exact dates don't really matter, but a 2-month span seems neater.
Sure, sounds good. Okay. It sounds like we're actually making decisions here, so I was assuming we just have an informal discussion, but looks like we're getting through it. Any other thoughts regarding the AdMod building or these plans or questions?
Yes, I had heard that in past AdMod buildings there was an internal little train, and I like that idea.
Well, if somebody wants to put that into their entry, the what was it, the Mini Fridge Express?
Yeah, that's
Also, yeah. What about there were some ideas of eminent domaining the block behind or something? I'm assuming we wouldn't be doing that here.
Well, the thing
Uh,
that Frozen owns those lovely but unfinished buildings immediately behind, and so I believe we can ask our friend here. And I've asked Frozen before if he would be willing to accommodate a move of these nice buildings to similarly located plots in the central area of CC. There's a lot of open space, of course.
so which
Uh,
can we be which plots are we specifically talking about here? So the ones
In between the Admod building and the A1.
so
plot number
17.
17.
Okay. Yeah,
That one.
behind the Admod building, north of the Admod building.
Yeah, effectively behind. We could eminent domain it, or what, depending. But if we're
Is it
to
the-
do that, I would rather say eminent domain, the plot immediately west of it. But also, the more we add in terms of space to build with, like, I think the less likely it is we're going to actually get entrance.
You would
Yeah, like you'd end up with a bunch of half-finished towers, so no one knows how to fill it out.
before.
Yeah.
Frozen is
I
saying
mean, maybe the best thing is build a tower now and see, and if people want more space, look later. But then it just gets complicated again, and who knows?
Frozen is just saying yeah, sure. So, if that's the case, then yeah. I think if that's the case, then at least we know how the contest builders at least know how much space they're working with. So,
So it'd effectively be two plots. It'd effectively be two plots, numbers 1 and 17.
the question is, what happens with the road in between those plots, right?
You can always just, call me an urbanist, but you can just close it.
That could be an option. What about design? There could be a design where someone builds just on top of it. Maybe it's actually two different buildings with that kind of a walkway sort of situation, or even,
wouldn't that be a tremendous security risk? You could get a car bomb under there. I'm just thinking.
With the,
on the MRT.
why not?
This is
Okay, look.
do we live in Northern Ireland?
We're coming up on the 10th anniversary of when Vice President Pears ordered the shoot-down of Inter-Air Flight 12 over the Pacific before it was going to hit into Spawn City. So it is something that we do need to consider, I think.
Okay.
I'm not taking that seriously.
Neither am I.
Save that for the trustee
Okay.
meeting.
In seriousness, that particular sort of arrangement, I think it could be done.
I'm just more asking because I'm wondering how flexible. We want to give some flexibility to the builders whether they want to keep that road or not. If they don't want, if we have several designs that do or don't, then that's okay. I'm just wondering if that's So
I mean, also,
Yeah.
it's another idea of just keep the tower disconnected and use it as an annex thing. But
yeah, another option could be maybe they combine the plot, but not all of it's the building. Maybe like there's a garden like a courtyard in front or behind or something like that.
I think that is the advantage, and particularly it's what I propose if you eat that plot. It means you can set back the current AdMod building, and then you can actually have an actually existing AdMod square.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah, as opposed to it being a fiction for the sake of naming a metro station.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, it sounds like we have a plan, so we'll go with that.
Yeah. For what it's worth, plot number 2, directly west of the Admon building. People like that mall. I don't understand why. But I think it's probably safer as far as the community is concerned to keep the mall there.
I think that
I
is
think
a
it's
given.
all actually a stuff.
Well, I think specifically with that, I think it implies that if you're going to take down the Fairfax Mall, then in order to be sort of even, to be equal, one ought to take down the Bart Building, and I would not suggest taking down either. They're nice buildings.
Yeah, that too.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll potentially we'll allow the plot behind to be used in entries, but be aware. I think if somebody decides
I'm
they
sorry,
just want to,
I need to switch over to mobile because I just realized I have a flu shot in 10 minutes. Can someone please drag me up?
Okay. Well, yeah, we're gonna move on to the trustee tower now.
yeah.
Okay.
So competition, potentially using plot 17, but I think if somebody decides not to fill plot 17 in their entry, we'll just leave it as is.
Yep. And that the contest will run from November to January GSM. So. Okay, the trustee tower. Now this one's a little bit different. Reading the absentee ballots, Vicky says, sure, why not? As good of a use as anything in that plot. HVT, no opinion on trustee tower, maybe a bit against because it seems a bit unnecessary. Alpha says, I'd like to see more specifications and use cases for the building first, since it is proposed that it will occupy the plots of the old flag park. And Elite did in the thread. There is a open question right now of whether that plot should be the trustee tower or it should be instead a Senate building of some sort. That is a building for all the senators on the server. So there's that. And there's also the option of not going along with any of that as well. So any thoughts?
We kind of already have, there's the whole rank resort. There is the whole rank resort. We've got a place dedicated to ranks per rank. Anything we choose is going to be arbitrary. Whether we choose trustee, citizen, Titan Senate, whatever else. It's going to be an arbitrary. You've hit this rank and you get, for some reason, you get an office in a building in Central City.
Yeah.
I can see it being quite nice, but right on Central Park, I'm less convinced.
My current opinion is I feel like we already have enough government buildings around Central Park right now. We got the AdMod building. We just got the conductor tower. I think I would like to see a little bit more variety. It's like something different in that plot. To be fair, I don't know what. I have no there was Simon's proposal to move the mail center there, and that was not terribly well received for reasons. But yeah, something else. I just want to see something again. Keep it. Just remind everyone. I think the goal we're trying to go for is the buildings that are right next to Central Park. That's the first thing guests will see. So we want to give them a good first impression. So the buildings there should be, I would say, a little bit more impressive than what you normally see on the server. Like could be something flashy, could be something really architecturally interesting. I don't know. If it also has a use, that's also a plus as well. Simon says, I feel it could be a cause for a lot of Lagner spawn if people were to spam entities in their offices. We've seen similar with conductor offices, and there would be a lot more trustee offices. That's a good point. We did see that problem even in the AdMod building, where some conductor offices were, as soon as some people with slow computers tried to get next to that office, it was they experienced a lot of client-side lag. So that's a really good point, actually, Simon. Lead, if you can't speak, you can just type it out, I guess, if that doesn't work. Or we can try this again here.
Yeah, I've invited them back up.
I'm inviting you, but that doesn't seem to be working here. Oh, there you go.
You can hear us knock 3 times.
Hello, hello.
Hello, we can hear you.
We can hear you. Blue. Oh, hang on. Yes, I'm very sorry about that. I don't know what the hell that's throwing in. I got a flu shot. So I'm going to actually switch around to voice activity because I do not believe in holding the phone while driving.
Don't drive when don't do that. That's dangerous. Don't.
Yes, I know. I'm saying I don't believe in that. I'm going to put it over on voice activity so I can be heard.
Oh, I see.
The underlying principle is that hey, so what are the concerns that have been brought up? I think one of them was that we don't have a Senate. We actually do have a Senate. We just created, I think, last month. No, in March, excuse me. We put out a poll. The poll was in very much in favor of putting the trustees at Central Park and keeping the Senate over by Southwest, and that's the old Federation building. That's currently the MRT Parliament building. In terms of lag, I don't, at least in my mind, the idea is that the offices wouldn't be big enough where one could put so many, put enough entities in there to lag. We can always put some sort of restriction on that.
Elite, I would disagree with that. We've already seen in the AdMod, there was been at least a couple cases in the AdMod building with the conductor offices where some conductors put in really laggy stuff in their office, and that had to be removed. If we have that for trustees, that problem's just going to become exponentially worse because there are more offices.
Yes, and that's why.
Yeah.
That's why I said I would be amenable to just banning or severely limiting what could be put in the offices.
Which would require enforcement, which I don't know if staff or anyone else really wants to spend the time doing. So.
This is the trustee tower. I'd be happy, unironically, and seriously, to enforce some modicum of a responsible office, office management.
I don't know. Like, I don't know if that's enough to, given the scale of how many trustees are going to be, right? Like, it seems, I'm not buying that argument, unfortunately. Like, I think it's really easy for some to slip past, and it gets really difficult if it could, because it makes a lot of client side lag to just get rid of it, right? So. Like, just in general, like, it's right next to spawn. We also don't want to lag new players as well, or just people in general. So
we'll have to leave in a minute, by the way.
Okay.
Well, I think all that would be needed to enforce it as you go in through GMSP and you run through the offices. As I think there is something 300 people above, at trustee and above. I don't assume that all 300 people are going to go on offices. Maybe it would only be 100 offices. Maybe it would be scalable to, if one day it would, we ran out, we could increase the size, the amount of offices. That being said, one can just GMSP through each floor and check for anything out of.
Even 100 sounds like a lot, to be really honest. So I don't know. And again, moving on from that, there was my argument of, I don't really foresee the need for another technically a government building in Central City. I feel like there should be something different there. I don't know what it should be there, but I would like to see some more variety of buildings and usages in that plot. And I don't think the Trustee Tower really fits that, unfortunately.
Yes, well, I think it does go back to what the hell else are we going to put there? That plot's been sitting blank for a year now. I think it's. But,
for the record, there's just under 500 non-staff players, trustee or above right now.
Yeah.
Yes, and then about 20 of them are staff, and then
No,
one cannot be.
besides staff.
Oh, besides
I
staff.
think.
Well,
I don't know.
e-
I don't know.
and even then,
I don't know how the member
we're
list
not
works. But even
giving.
then, there's like 20 staff, so that's still at least 450.
We're not giving every trustee an office. We're just going to have enough so that each trustee who wants, because many of those trustees are inactive people. If you want an office, you can get an office. And then the particular design I had in mind, if I were to build a building, and I do want to circle back to the point that I'd be happy to run a competition and privately finance it. Thousand clams on the line. Let's see what we got. It's a similar argument, I think, in my own mind for the Admiral building. It's got to look nice. And that's why I'm sure that I could do something. Principle is nice, but we can do better than nice, can't we? I don't even know if this thing still turned on.
Yeah, we can still pay. Yeah.
Okay, great. So,
I will just say that if the plot stays empty for the time being, I would actually prefer that before, like, I would be fine with that. I would rather we wait until we find the right building to put there. So that's my opinion.
so I will accede to opinion, of course. I got my way on that one. I would, however, ask that I have to run into a flu shot, so I will not be able to read the meeting notes. And we've got a real banger this time around. So if you could have a volunteer, please read them, because I don't think you guys are going to want to miss this one, in particular.
Go get vaccinated, and we'll.
I hesitantly will take that responsibility if needed.
Thank you, NBF, and I will ensure that you are.
Yoshi Pi will do it.
Oh, Yoshi Pi will do it? Okay. All right, cool. Anyway, so what are we thinking about this? It's like I got my opinion. Does any staff here want the trustee meeting? Or sorry, trustee building? Building there? Or any members in attendance of the meeting here right now? Like,
As nice as it would be to have a building in that plot, I would be a lot more. I would be hesitant. Personally, I mean, a shopping centre would go quite nicely there, but that is something we don't really have. We don't really have much retail for the capital of the server, but that's very much.
I would argue, well, technically right next to it is Fred's terminal that has a shopping center. It's not developed yet, but I think there's a lot of space there. Plus, of course, there's the what we were talking about, plot number
Fairfax.
2, the Fairfax. That's a mall technically. So
Yeah.
Frozen. The builds on the east side were the plan was, the sort of informal plan is to possibly look at trying to make that into a warp rail terminal. To be very clear, we're not Fairfax Mall is not getting touched. Fairfax Mall is not getting touched. Don't worry about that. I'm leaning toward just saying no to the trustee tower. It would be nice to see. I would like to see some further proposals later on from other people, perhaps to propose what they want to see in that plot. Guest tower.
Yes, it's a meme, but I think there is some actual thought.
Guest
Not
hotel.
thought, but
there's not many
prominent.
hotels. Hotel, huh?
I feel like something targeted toward guests to get themselves acquainted to the server beyond what's in the Welcome
Yeah.
Center might be
We
kind
should
of
get
cool.
time to host a hotel contest to build a hotel for the plot. That's a great idea.
Honestly, yeah, not bad.
Anyway,
I hope a hotel will be nice.
Anyway, I will leave people to think on that. If you think you have if your idea coalesces into something, then you can certainly make a proposal about it, and then that can be discussed later on. Technically, it doesn't have to be discussed at GSM. It could be proposed in the proposals channel, but I guess for something like this, Elite decided to go this route, which does kind of make sense. Community super block where we can add a bunch of buildings. I think also part of it, maybe also something to consider. I would also be open to proposals just to destroy some buildings. If there's like any buildings that are definitely incomplete or inactive, you don't have to make a proposal to replace them. You could just say, let's clear this out and then make a plan later. So that could be a possibility.
I'm hesitant.
How so?
It could just make it look very barren.
I would actually be okay with that if it's temporary, to be honest. Like,
Yes, but it has to be temporary.
that's true, but I think part of it is maybe the reason why people are making proposals is because they see that there's something in there and they just give up, right? Like,
Okay, maybe a few empty plots might be good, but not more than like a certain amount.
Yeah, no, we're not. It's not like you're going into like the bulldoze tool in City Skylines and just blowing up everything. That's not what we're doing here. But maybe being selective about it, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe like no bulldoze proposals after a certain amount of plots are empty.
Yeah.
Well, more than 30% of plots empty.
Like definitely, it's not every. It's like there's definitely a lot of incomplete builds or just things are just no one knows who owns it. No one knows what the heck it's supposed to be. So I think those are definitely good candidates. But we are looking for, again, the plan is the general direction of CC is to try to redevelop it into something a little bit more pleasant to look at, I guess, or useful too. So yes, gentrification. Okay, so can we just say no to the trustee tower then? Is that fine here? We can make a decision here?
Agreed.
Okay, so we're going to say no to that. Frozen has a renovation of all main thoroughfares is needed. Frozen, talk to Vicky, because Vicky's been, I think, has had ideas of redoing all the roads. She's probably the best person to talk to there. That is also a good idea. I think, yeah, I would be in favor of some sort of road reimagining. Okay, we're at the end of the meeting. Yoshi, oh, he has his hand up already, or her hand up, sorry. Okay. There, oh, sorry. I keep getting pronouns wrong.
All right, can I be heard?
Yes, we can hear you.
You can be heard.
All right. The October trustee meeting, read by the acting speaker Yoshi Pi _ as authorized by the speaker of the MRT Chamber of Trustees, the Right Honorable Elite Neon. We will begin with the nominations. Bisexual Eagles fan Emmy winner Hannah Einbinder for trustee carried 4-0. Wow. The three chickens tied to the back of the conducted building for trustee carried 5-0. Ruby Kurosawa for trustee because Ganbari Rubying Time carried 5-0. The Spanish national team for trustee carried 5-0. The hamster, which powers the Delta mission with a spinning wheel for trustee, carried 7-0. All the towns of Rainbow Slime abandoned between 2023 and 2024 for trustee carried 3-2. The city of Kalamazoo, Michigan for trustee carried 5-0 with thunderous applause. For trustee carried 5-0. Motion to approve absentee nominations privately relayed to the speaker by the trustee from Shenghua defeated 1-2. Voting on the seat currently occupied by Stereo Wavy for trustee carried 5-0. The birch tree at x coordinate 24,453, z coordinate 15,680 for trustee carried 7-0, and the Athaka Model 37 shotgun-based crossbow held by Her Royal Highness of the Crown of the Princess of Spain for trustee carried 5-0. We will now move on to general business. Motion to ban the music disc Lava Chicken carried 17.5 plus nay plus 2 to the power of 5 to 15. Simon Scholar stole the floor. Motion to change the spelling of wheel to Whell carried 3-2. Motion to merge the similar terms international and international denied for I have a headache. Motion to give all attendees of the trustee meeting a rice bowl seasoned with deer antlers taken from Bashami's rice cooker in Hino carried 6-1. A motion to guarantee that every trustee gets a Dr. Oetker for Jesus Pizza carries 3-1. Motion to name a random turtle eating Peach Bay trustee and nominate for trustee carried 4-1. Motion to empower the Senate to appoint a reeve of Central City carried 3-1. Motion for motioning motions carried 2.5-2. Motion to rename poppies to roses carried 5-0. Motion to double the amount of turtles in Peach Bay for the sake of biodiversity and circular economy carried 6-0 to 1. Motion for the Detroit Red Wings to score a goal carried 2-5. Motion to expropriate the Central City plot the GSM is about and turn it into a massive Native American casino carried 5-0 to 1. Hunter/X for trustee carried 5-0. Motion to forget what Her Royal Highness the Crown Princess of Spain was going to propose defeated 2-1. Frumple for Forklift Frank carried 4-0. Motion to allow Nexurian to lead the trustee meeting defeated 0-3. Motion to adjourn deferred. Motion to recognize that the Dodgers suck and they should be eliminated from the MLB postseason carried out by Executive Fiat. Motion to forbid the word minecart in compliance with Mojang's content policy tied at 1-1. Speaker votes death to Ohio. Motion to adjourn the meeting deferred. Motion to adjourn the meeting deferred carried 6-0. As per the invocation of the Speaker, I, His Excellency, the Right Honourable Elite Leon PCOC KCMG, Speaker of the MRT Chamber of Trustees and Head of the one true and holy government of the MRT, Grand Marshal of the Holy and Sovereign Order of the Big Ward, purveyor of firearms and the military/non-profit industrial complex, do hereby certify this document as do hereby declare this document to be the manifestly undemocratic will of the MRT Chamber of Trustees and its Speaker. May Eris the Eagle bring the actually existing rapid transit to southeast Michigan, and may he continue to bring his most omnipotent many such cases to the hallowed and humble chamber of the and to the people of the MRT. The bleeding lasted longer than the Confederacy.
Okay. Is that it?
Yes.
Okay.
It's gone on so long that the meeting notes have already ended up in Boarbic Library.
All right. Okay. Let's
I
bring
could have
this.
read it better.
Let's bring this meeting to a close. One last thing is actually a couple things. I'll just remind people that the beta server currently has 2 new plugins that are being tested right now. One is the Armor Stand Editor Reborn plugin, which is supposed to replace, we're intending to replace the Armor Stand Tools plugin because AST is abandoned and has quite some bugs there. So if you could take some time to just test that out, just read the announcements for instructions how to use it. The other one is the Distant Horizons server plugin that'll only work if you have the Distant Horizons client mod. It just basically allows you that with that plugin, if you go on the server, you don't have to visit the chunks beforehand. The server will already have that information. That data is being pre-generated. It should actually be done in the next couple of days. I'll ping some people or make an announcement in the beta channels when that's done so people can test that. And finally, now we can go on to Q&A. If there's any questions or comments regarding any topics here, now's our last chance to bring them up. Otherwise, I'm going to bring this meeting to a close if there's nothing here.
A reminder that for most time zones, the GSM will be an hour earlier. If DST is coming to a close in the next few weeks for you, the November GSM will be an hour earlier at 7 p.m. UTC as always.
Yep. For people on West Coast, that'll be like 11 a.m. Eastern's like 2 p.m. That sort of thing. Okay, I'm not hearing anything. Here's the last chance. Okay, goodbye. This is the end of the meeting. Thanks for coming. I think it was actually pretty productive. I think about it, but